Hello and welcome, I'm Crystal with Owl Knights Media, and I'll be reviewing Wuthering Waves from the perspective of a casual gamer. This game is primarily a single-player game, however it does offer co-op with up to 2 other players after you reach level 22. It was developed by Kuro Games Studio. This game can be played on PC, iOS, and Android. I've tried it on PC with mouse and keyboard, as well as with controller, and even tried it on iOS as it's easier for me to access my phone. I ended up mostly playing it on PC with mouse and keyboard, as it was just the easiest playstyle for me. There are a few things I'd like to talk about, from the fighting mechanics to the overall aesthetics, so without further ado, let's dive right in. The first thing I'd like to talk about is some of the characters I've had access to. Starting off with the main character. She's currently a Spectro Sword 5-star character, and I have to say, she surprised me the most. In almost every other gacha game I've played, I found myself swapping out the main character as quickly as possible, as they were oftentimes too weak. However, I find myself doing the complete opposite in Wuthering Waves. The main character seems rather strong, and her fighting style feels very good. I've only played with her first attribute so far, however, I look forward to unlocking more to come. The next 2 characters I want to talk about are currently, as of June 5th, the limited time banner characters. Starting off with the one I actually pulled for. Gen is a 5-star arrow character that wields a broadblade, and I think I'm in love. Not only is his character design and abilities stunning, he's actually really strong. His heavy attack thrusts him forward, which makes getting to enemies just out of reach easier, and his ultimate unleashes a dragon that lets you swoop up small enemies and continuously deal damage to them in an AoE. He's made running around exploring for me that much easier. The second banner character is Yinlin. She's an Electro Rectifier 5-star character. Now, I've only really played with her in her story quest and her trial, so my opinion is limited. However, she had me second guessing whether I wanted Gen or her. She seemed very straightforward on how to use and seems to be primarily an AoE unit. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to pull for her. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the Echoes. These are the gear pieces in which you can equip up to 5 on any character. Each one has different stats, which will need to be planned out for which character you use it for. More importantly though, is how you go about obtaining some of these. There are 2 ways to farm them, one being in the open world, and the other by farming tacit fields. I love that as I'm running around, exploring, I can just fight enemies and get random echoes as I'm doing it. It is very random, however, these mobs tend to drop decent echoes for someone who's just beginning the game. My favorite and by far the most overpowered enemy you can get an echo from is this beautiful dancing turtle. Obviously I'm joking, but who wouldn't love this guy? The tacit fields are more of a targeted farm, as each field drops echoes from 2 specific sets. The only big downside to farming fields is it costs wave plates, so be mindful as you're farming. The third thing I'd like to talk about is the exploration and puzzles. While running around in such a big area could seem overwhelming, I find that this game puts groups of enemies, puzzles, and treasure chests just close enough to where you sense how big the area is, but not be bored by it. I was running along and just kept having thing after thing to do, and didn't realize 30 minutes had already passed. So if there's one thing to watch out for, it's how addictive this game can be. Something I like about the puzzles in the open world is that they aren't overly complicated. Most seem straightforward, and the explanations that are given to you about them are right on. No mind-numbingly difficult puzzles that I've encountered yet, which is refreshing to see. The fourth thing I'd like to talk about are the rewards you get. From chests or exploration, I feel like it's a very solid amount. From random chests, you can see anywhere between 5 and 40 astrite, which makes searching for them feel worth it. As well as with quests and side quests, it all seems very reasonable. The part that surprised me was when they had to do fixes on the game itself. Now, I wasn't in the game when the biggest reward happened. It's something I heard about from my husband. However, when I made my account and saw I was indeed still able to just outright pick the 5-star character I wanted for free, I was mind blown. It's very rare gacha games will just outright give you one of their highest tier characters for free, and even more that it wasn't an event, but more of a sorry for the issues the game had on release. You mean to tell me a game actually rewarded its player base for its mistakes, and it's a worthwhile reward? This made me love and respect this game that much more. The final thing I'd like to talk about is how big and absolutely stunning the game itself is. I've been playing this game for roughly 10 plus hours, however I feel like I have barely put a dent in it. Between the main story quests, side quests, exploring the map, etc., there is plenty to do and see. The map is huge and has many towers you need to unlock in order to even see the whole thing. Then, as you're running around unlocking them, you find many side quests, puzzles, and enemies scattered throughout. This game definitely isn't lacking in content. To wrap things up, I'd have to say I'm genuinely excited to see where this game goes from here because they came in with a large bang. There is so much content I can't wait to try out. On that note, I'd like to thank you for listening to a casual gamer review of Wuthering Waves, and again, I'm Crystal with Owl Knights Media, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!